Hello there and welcome to my channel. This is going to be my first ever video and my first ever speed build. This channel is going to be me building. I have a PS5, so I do not have a gaming computer, so I hope that can be forgiven. I see a lot of people that build on computers, but not so much on console, so I'm hoping that maybe that can be interesting for some people to watch. I do not have all the packs either. So I decided for this build I was going to only use Cottage Living and base game, which is why it's a bit more bare. Honestly, this is not the best build I could have put out, but I was quite nervous posting this. As you can see, I do make a couple silly mistakes and I'm kind of all over with my filming, which makes doing a voiceover a bit difficult, but I hope that can be forgiven and I hope to put out some better quality videos in the future. Here I am, I'm just putting out some pathway so that our Sims can walk around without mud. I'm leaving those spaces so that I could put in some gardening beds. I decided to build this little cottage. I was sort of inspired by old countryside cottages, but this one's obviously, it's a lot that's within the city in Henford-on-Bagley. And I wanted to make it look like it was old, but it's been modernized slightly. So the addition of the garden beds, and I didn't stick to, I picked furniture and stuff that still had a slight rustic feel, but wasn't entirely old. I had built this a couple times, so there is a few things like that bay window that I picked up that didn't fit, because the last time I built it, it did. And here I am adding in the walls, so there's going to be a bedroom and a bathroom in this area, and then the building on the left hand side is going to be a workhouse. Here I am adding in our doors and a couple of lights, and I decided just to keep that basic white brick to make the walls look a bit interesting but still kind of plain. And I am using the tiles for the bathroom is base game, and the wood is the cute wood that I like from Cottage Living. Here I am adding in our bathroom. The toilet is also base game. The sink and the bathtub is from Cottage Living. The light fixture is also from Cottage Living, and this is just a base game mirror. I again wanted to keep it wood and sort of rustic, but just a bit more new. Like, I like to think that maybe most of the fixtures and stuff in this house are original, or were added along the way by prior tenants. I'm just adding a bit of flowers and stuff to the grass. Nothing too complicated. I added a nice little tree for some lovely shade. And a couple of flowers, that spot looked too empty, so I decided I needed to add at least a little bit something there. In the backyard, later on, I'm going to add a chessboard and whatnot. Here I am quickly, I realized I forgot to add a roof, and I toyed with the idea of adding in a straw roof, but I decided I just didn't like it. It was a bit too much. I think maybe I would have to make the building itself a bit taller for the straw to work. So I decided to go with this base game tile for the roofing. Here I am adding windows to our workshop. I toyed with the idea of adding some windows on the top here, but it just didn't make sense. It was too tall, so I added a chimney instead. Here's that bed that's too big. Pick a smaller one. There we go. That's much better. I wanted to add a nightstand but didn't fit, so I'm just going to use this dresser, also from Cottage Living. And these adorable counters, which I love using from Cottage Living. I always like to put the sink in front of the window. You know, it's nice. Your Sims are washing the dishes and looking out on the view. Over here there's going to be a nice lovely big fireplace, because I like to imagine that possibly when this was first built there was no stove, so they had to cook everything on the fire. So I just squeezed this chair and table in there so they have somewhere to eat, but I did realize later on that probably your sim would not be able to light the fireplace, so that might have to be moved elsewhere, or just have one seating area and push the table up against the wall. It's a very tiny, cozy kitchen. Nothing, you're not going to be cooking a Thanksgiving feast or anything like that, but it's good enough for one sim. Here I am, I'm working on the workshop area and adding in our gardening. So I like to think that maybe the sim, she is self-sufficient. She just she does woodworking for most of her money, and maybe she has eggs in a vegetable garden so she could cook for herself, but maybe she sells whatever's a surplus she has. I'm putting in a couple of plants in the front planters just so they're not sitting there empty, and then adding a couple of little details to the outside, a lovely bench to enjoy the nice breeze perhaps that we get through the trees. This little wreath is so cute. I never end up using it, so I was determined I was going to stick it somewhere in here. I didn't leave myself with too much space for decoration inside the living area, but the workshop is a bit more. I just thought to add this bush, but I wasn't sure about it, so I deleted it, just leaving that lovely ivy. Here's that chess table that I was going to add so that our Sims can have a little something else to do other than the work. And here I am finishing up with adding our light fixture so we can see outside at night. Make sure it works well. Yes, it does. And then here I am finishing up the workhouse area. So we're doing a woodworking, because honestly we're quite limited on what I can add here for this base game and cottage living building only. And a nice little reading nook, so perhaps she can wait on people to come and buy her things and be ready to serve them. And this is where I am going to be finishing up with a few little knickknacks here and there. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was enjoyable, and hopefully I can make a better video here soon in the future. If you have any tips or tricks, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.